Yo, hold up. Back up for a sec. Back up. We get in this corner. Watch for C4. They're probably about to try it.
Concussion ready.
Hey there, hope you guys are having a good day. This is Richard, and I'm letting you know that Rainbow Six Siege is getting yet another mid-season update. There's also been a little bit of a leak, and I'm going to deliver this news and offer some of my thoughts on where this new operator and season could go. So, let's get started. Okay, so first up on operator changes, we have Ace. Ace is getting his smoke grenades replaced with a claymore, and his Selma charges will destroy Black Mirror windows. Ace is quite possibly the best hard breach operator in the game. He has a very, very safe breaching option and an excellent gun in the AK-12. Since he did have smokes, Ace turned more or less into a do-it-all kind of operator, able to open up the wall, get a pick or two, and plant smoothly. I can see reasons for the change to Claymores, letting him have a solo flank watch, and having him rely more on his teammates, but I can't really imagine anything above casual being changed that much, but I could be wrong. Having to play more with your team is very much important, especially when you're trying to open up a wall or anything, and I totally understand wanting to nerf him just that little bit to make sure that team comp is still on the forefront of people's minds, but I don't think it's really going to have that much of a change unless you are at a lower level. Next up, we have Jackal, whose potential time to kill is getting increased by a little bit, at least one more bullet's worth, which is kind of a big nerf heading his way this season. He's getting his C7E rifle reduced to 25 plus 1 bullets, down from 30 plus 1, and his damage is going down to 42 from 46. This is probably going to have to make him pause and reload more often during round clear, which makes him more vulnerable more often. It's not a terribly large change, and Jackal doesn't necessarily really need one. As much as the community hates this foot sniffer, he has found a solid place in the Siege community, and this patch just kind of brings him down just a little bit to make other picks slightly more viable, which is something I'm seeing through a lot of this list. In a very similar move for Jackal, Jaeger has also been nerfed. He is getting a reduced 416C magazine capacity to 25 plus 1. It was 30 plus 1, same as Jackal, but instead of reduced damage, he is getting increased weapon recoil vertically. Instead of it being about damage, it's about accuracy, if that wasn't obvious. This change will probably require a bit more pulling the mouse downwards as you fire, but likely not by much. If you're a Jaeger main, this likely won't affect you unless you're at max distance, and even then, in a game that's so heavy on one-shot headshot kills, it's probably going to be kill or be killed at really any distance engagement when you cross each other's path. So if you make the first shot count, you'll never notice a difference. But you're already a Jaeger main, so I really don't have to tell you that anyway. Lord Tachanka gets an incredibly good buff for his Shimika launcher, which sort of needed to happen, seeing as the meta has more or less evolved around and a little without him. He has an increased magazine capacity to 7, it was at 5. His increased fire duration was at 5 seconds, and now it's 7 seconds. The detonation time has been lowered to 0.75 seconds from 1 second. He gets a larger AOE, just slightly though, 0.2 meters, which can be a lot. The projectile distance to start drop was 20 meters instead of 8 meters, meaning they get to travel further before really dropping that much. And the speed that they're going at is from 20 units to 30 units, and that's fast. That's huge. That's an extra half of the speed added to that projectile. In addition, he's also getting a slightly faster equip time for his DP-27 in an unequipped time, so you're able to switch between the DP-27 and the Shimik launcher a little faster. But being able to fire off 7 shots in a row before reloading, and that AoE getting slightly larger and lasting a solid 2 more seconds per shot, while proccing a quarter of a second faster, just means Tachanka is now going to be better equipped to deal with outside or unexpected forces much, much better. And having a slightly faster switch time back to his DP-27, which I already said is a nice bonus when it comes to trying to finish the job. I hope this brings Tachanka up in competitive a little more. He's got an interesting place in the community right now, and I just want to see him get slightly more love. It's great that he turned from a meme into a real operator, and he is on the cusp of being one of the more interesting defense operators in the game, I feel. Hopefully. Lastly, but not leastly, Thermite has been giving smokes instead of his Claymore. They took his Claymore away in a move that is kind of the opposite of Ace's changes. You give an operator that is much more vulnerable to a flank or a run out less ability to deal with that without dying on the hard wall, and that kind of sucks. We'll have to see what this change is really going to bring, but it seems like a smoke plant with Thermi holding the diffuser himself is a little more viable, but I don't see this change being terribly big again in casual. And as one final major change, on the attacker side, all DMRs lose the 1x optics and gain everything in between in order to balance out different engagement distances. Some people might not necessarily like to have a 3x scope when they are going into close quarters. I know how that is because I do play a Rooney with the EBR. But one day, maybe the game will give me the reflex scope that I can toggle between, like in Call of Duty. But until that day, I'm still probably going to be running the 3x because that's what I'm used to. And whether I like it or not, that's what I pick. Now, onto the leaks. And here's where a bunch of my speculation comes in. Operation North Star is on the horizon. Get it? Which is set to be the title of Year 6 Season 2 and should happen shortly after the latest Battle Pass ends if there's not another event or something to take its place momentarily. I've heard word of something called Apocalypse being thrown around. A couple leaks have happened about that. If I get more of a solid lead, I will cover it. During Operation North Star, we're getting our favela rework. Finally, it's a map that really sorely needs it. Favela has been a thorn in the side of the competitive and casual player alike, with its heavy usage of soft outside walls and never enough reinforcements to cover every one of them. It's a shit show, to put it in layman's terms. The operators and strats that we have available to us simply were not a thought in Ubisoft's mind during the development of this game and this map, and it is high time for a change-up. Ideally, the number of soft outside walls is going to be reduced, and maybe to counter that, maybe a balcony is placed outside the wall of the 3rd floor site to allow ops like Thatcher a little more use against hard breach denial. And I would even go so far as to say, if you extend a lot of the rooms laterally inside, giving a lot more space to maneuver around in the house kind of sections, that'll also take away some precious attacker movement area outside windows and a lot of those spaces. But really, any of these changes is really welcome so long as we see a little more than we got on Border. Fortunately, Border wasn't so broken that it needed a massive overhaul, but hopefully the dev team has enough good sense to nuke Favela into the ground before trying to rebuild at all. And as for our next operator, we've gotten bits and pieces of information from Ubisoft and leaks that the newest operator may be named Thunderbird. And they come from the Nakota tribe in Western Canada, somewhere around Manitoba, Saskatchewan, or Alberta. And considering the last 3 defense operators that were added, we had a roamer and 2 more area denial and utility wasting ops rather than an actual trap op, we are likely more to see another real trap operator. We haven't really seen one since Goyo, and if you don't really count him, Alibi. The trap meta is strong based on the operators that it has in there being strong, and it goes incredibly hard when you have a team full of trap operators, so I would like to see something that can shake this up in an interesting way. I myself don't really know a lot about the tribe, so I'm not going to guess something culturally as a gadget, but I'd like to see something more like Frost's bear traps that immobilize or knock out an opponent for a long and or a short time. I think that'd be a really fun addition. The Ace compilations, where everyone on attack falls into these traps, would flood YouTube and thoroughly mess up the Siege algorithm forever. And that is this week's quick Siege update. And what would you like to see in the newest defense operator having in their kit? Let me know in the comments, because I might expand upon my thoughts if I can get some inspiration to flesh out some of these ideas. And if you're liking this type of news and analysis, please subscribe for more of the same. I try to go in depth on Siege news and speculation when I can, because it's just too darn fun. I'll catch you on the flip. See you in the next video. Have a great day.